Yes, salt is your friend if you use it the right way and the right kind of salt. We don't have to be afraid of salt. We actually need sodium for life and for health. And I want you to use the right kind of salt. And if you do, and you use it in combination with a couple of other things, it can even help bring down blood pressure. So the sodium that makes your blood pressure high is a processed sodium. You're eating that processed iodized salt. You're eating a lot of fast food. You're eating at places that cook with high sodium. That is not a healthy sodium. You want a healthy sodium such as this, Kallima salt, okay? Now, I used to recommend Celtic salt or real salt. I don't recommend those anymore because lab tests have now shown that they are high in lead, and especially Celtic salt being the absolute highest, and also in microplastics. Now, why is that? Because all of us holistic practitioners have recommended Celtic salt for a very long time. Well, science is always changing, right? Science doesn't just stay set. We're always researching, and sometimes it changes. So many years ago, the ocean wasn't polluted, but it is today with a lot of microplastics and heavy metals. And that's where Celtic salt comes from. So you could see how it would be polluted. Now, I don't know about the Redmond salt. I know that comes from a salt lake in Utah, but it also tested high in lead, and that's the one I also used to use. I still have the salt shaker. I just put my Kallima salt in here now. But Kallima salt is from Colima, Mexico, from lagoons there, and it's only harvested 16 weeks out of the year and tests very low for microplastics or any heavy metals. And it can also work to help bring down your blood pressure. Because what this type of salt does is remineralize the cells, the blood vessel walls, and help make them more flexible. We get very low in minerals today because our food is so processed. We're not eating correctly. We're not getting the nutrients we once did many years ago from our foods. And so people are getting inflexible blood vessel walls, and so that is one reason you can have high blood pressure. Also, if you're insulin resistant, a test to get would be a fasting insulin test. You would go in the morning at a lab and test your fasting insulin, and if it is high after you've been fasting overnight, that means your system isn't responding to insulin very well. That can also cause blood pressure to rise to an unhealthy level. And I think fasting insulin is more accurate than A1C or a glucose test. I can put in for that. If you need one, you can ask your doctor. They don't usually test for it, but I like testing for that, and I believe it is very important. You want your fasting insulin number to be 3 to 8. If it's higher than that, you're becoming insulin resistant, and that can also be a cause of high blood pressure, so you need to get that corrected. Medical ranges will say under 18 is fine, but that's not a healthy range. We want health, not barely above sick ranges, right? So we want to go for those healthy ranges of 3 to 8. Dr. Hyman even says 3 to 7. Okay, so with the Kallima salt, if you do have high blood pressure, or even if you don't, I use it as my electrolyte drink. I don't have to take electrolyte powder anymore. I also used to have to take a lot of potassium because I was so low in it, and my neck was so stiff I could barely turn it. But just the Kallima salt has corrected that, and I've been remineralized. And I use this to help people with their high blood pressure as well. We also use magnesium, which is very important as a cofactor. And then I like Oceans Alive phytoplankton from Activation Products, okay? So those three are very important in general, whether you have high blood pressure or not. But if you do have high blood pressure, I would use these three. Correct your insulin, make sure your diet is clean and you're not having a lot of processed sodium. And then you want to start with about a half teaspoon and about 8 ounces of water. And then you can gradually work up to a half teaspoon twice a day. and then slowly start weaning off that blood pressure medication. Your blood pressure may go higher at first for the first couple of weeks because your body has to adjust. It won't kill you as long as it doesn't get too high or past 200 for that top number. Hold steady. Keep monitoring it. If it does get too high, you will have to go back on your medication. But if it doesn't get too high, hold steady, because I've had it work for everyone. And then their blood pressure finally starts dropping once those vessel walls get more flexible and your system gets more remineralized. So salt is your friend if you use it in the right way. We need the minerals, all those trace minerals. It's not just sodium. It also has potassium, magnesium, all the trace minerals that you need in the right way. And I use it before I do a workout. I'll put a half teaspoon in my mixture of Oceans Alive and everything else I use, and then I go do my workout, and that's my electrolyte drink. So remember, Kalima salt, you can get that from Ava Jane's Kitchen online. They even sell it on Amazon. I like the double wood magnesium a lot too, because one capsule is 400 milligrams, and most companies will make you take 3 or 4 capsules just to get 400 milligrams. So this is just one capsule. I like taking that in the evening time for relaxation of the muscles and even sleep. And then the phytoplankton by Oceans Alive. This doesn't come from the ocean. Typically, phytoplankton is from the ocean, but because it's polluted, they grow it themselves in their own clean machine, where it's just like it would be growing in the ocean. And you can get that from Activation Products. So give it a try. Whether you have high blood pressure or not, we all need these, and most of us are not going to get what we need in our foods without these. Also, the phytoplankton, it has all your B vitamins, omega-3s, and it almost works as a good multivitamin. It gives me lots of energy. All right, salt your friend. Don't be afraid of it if you take it the right way.